All right. Well, welcome to English Lutheran Weekly. We've been at this for a few weeks, and this has been kind of fun. It's been a lot. We've gotten a lot of views of looking to see what's happening at English Lutheran. Tonight, I'm Niki Pohnl, the Director of Discipleship at English, and I am just conducting different interviews to see what's happening around our facility, what's happening with programming and things like that. So tonight we are talking to a couple of our creative women in our congregation, some quilters and more quilters and more. So if you have questions for us as we go, please put them in the chats, and then we will answer them. So feel free to interact with us as we go. All right, so ladies, would you introduce yourself? Maybe how long you've been at English Lutheran, how long you've been a quilter?
I'll go first.
You want me to start?
I'm Joan Allen, and I've been a member of English Lutheran for 22, going on 23 years, I think. And I've been a quilter since I retired from work, which is in 2013. So that's about 9 years, I think.
Wow, good.
Doesn't seem like that long, but.
Okay, Karen.
And I'm Karen Guptill, and I've been a member of English Lutheran for about 50 years since I moved to La Crosse when I got my first nursing job. And I have been a quilter at English probably for about 6 years, right after I retired.
Okay. You're retired? I didn't think you were retired.
Well, I tried to retire, but I retired, but I stayed on call. So
okay. Okay. So how many quilters are there? How many quilters do we have? Do you know? Is there about 20? I think when we started meeting in the building, Sharon Odall, that comes in to set up, she wanted to have authorization for 20 people. But I don't know how many there are for sure.
I think when we started, we have 20 or 21 when we're all there completely.
Okay. Okay. And when do you meet?
We meet on Tuesday mornings in the fellowship hall. And yesterday we had 10 people there. That's about the average since COVID. We've had 12, I think.
Okay.
And some of the people are in the South yet. They're just coming back from their winters in the South.
Okay. Okay. It's nice to have you guys back in the building, but it's the only unhappy part is that you're not bringing treats yet. But, can't eat together, but there's some fantastic bakers in that group too. Do the quilters need more volunteers? Who can volunteer to be a quilter?
Anyone can volunteer.
Do you have to have sewing experience? Do you have to have sewing experience?
No.
Okay.
No experience whatsoever. You don't need to know how to sew or anything. We do have 5 people that actually do sew the quilts together.
Okay.
But the rest of them just tie the quilts and pin them, and they don't need. We'll teach you as you go.
Awesome. Okay, so you've met in the building on Tuesday mornings for as long as I've been working at English, but then during COVID, you had to switch it up a little bit and couldn't meet. So had to switch gears a little bit. So did the quilts keep going during COVID? That's a question that we often get of, what happened to this program or that program, and do we still make quilters? Do we still make quilts? Do we still make the quilts during COVID? So how did that process work?
There are some ladies that are quilting all the time behind the scenes. Karen actually is one of those that's sewing tops together, making those beautiful combinations of colors and fabric. And Kathy Weeks is one. Barbara
Manti
makes tops too, I think. Anybody else?
Mm-hmm. Yes, both Sharon Odall and Judy Conniff do as well.
Okay. And so that kept going. So people were making tops and then still putting them together, or just had ended up with a lot of top pieces, or what? How did that all come together?
I think that Kathy Weeks probably put some of her quilts together herself.
Okay.
She actually took, I think it was like 31 of them up to the cities during the COVID time that she had, I think, actually made herself.
Oh, wow.
But the rest of us, we just make the tops, and now we're putting them together as we get back to church to do that.
Okay, good. And the quilts go to various places, right?
Yes.
Where do they mainly go to?
Well, every year our seniors that are graduating from high school get quilts, as most everybody in church knows. But they also go to the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club got 20 this year. New Horizons got 20. And I know that Sharon Norris shared some of her quilts with her daughter, who's a teacher in the public schools.
We also sent 3 to to Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. We donated 3 quilts to them.
Okay. I love when the quilt display comes out for the seniors, and every year I find at least one that I really, really, really want because they're so beautiful. Like you said before, the colors that you put together are just so beautiful that I just want to sneak one.
Well, we tried it. We probably wouldn't miss it, really. We try to at least put out twice as many as we need. That way it gives each senior a chance to pick the one they really like.
Oh, good.
So it's not like they have the last person picking gets the last quilt. No, that's
right.
not how that works. They get to pick their own.
Right. I know that there's a sophomore this year.
And it really is gratifying to see.
Go ahead, Karen.
Go ahead.
I know that there's
gratifying to see who picks what.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's interesting. There's a sophomore in at our church right now that is really excited about that chicken quilt that is hanging up in the fellowship hall. She really, really wants that when she's a senior. So we do have a couple of areas in our church that we have some quilts displayed, and as people start to come back, they'll be able to see those. And I think those are interchanged, or the idea is that they be interchanged with different things. So save the chicken quilt.
Right. We'll have to put her name on it right away, I guess.
We should.
No, the one thing that
as we're making our quilts. Oh, go ahead, Joan.
The one thing I didn't mention, Lutheran World Relief is where most of the quilts go. That's important to know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I know that you involved into some other sewing projects during COVID, that very important ministry, and that turned to some masks, right? Then how did that all get started?
Yes.
Get together and talk about, let's just get this going, or y'all did your separate thing, or how did that all start to take place?
It wasn't real formal. There were 4 or 5 of us that decided if we weren't going to be quilting and there was such a huge need for masks, and we started making masks. And Donna Schultz was one of the people who really encouraged us to just make masks for senior church members first. Mm-hmm. And I think Pastor Mark had that gave him an opportunity to visit some of the elderly people and give them a mask.
Nice.
And I know that my daughter was shopping at Festival one day, and one of the senior church members was in line in front of her, and they were both wearing the same mask. She thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
She said she didn't tell him this, but she says, I knew who made that mask.
Hey, so have you had any interesting requests for masks? Like, I know I am affiliated with the LGBT Center downtown. Some rainbow kind of ones. Did you have encounter any fun kind of patterns that people especially liked or that people requested?
I had some
Well, my
John
neighbor,
Deere. I had some John Deere tractor material, and my brother-in-law has 2 antique tractors. None of them are John Deere's. But when I made him a mask, I made it with the John Deere material, and I got a request for a couple of more of those from him. So,
Yes.
and then I also volunteer at the VA in the Valley View Mall. And I have made probably 20 Army masks, probably 10 Navy and Air Force masks. So the veterans have gotten masks that I have made when they stop in there. The other places that we made masks for was the Bethany Nursing Home. It says the Warming Center and New Horizons.
Yeah.
So there have been a lot of places that have benefited from our masks, I think.
Good. Good. And Karen, you were making masks
I
too?
actually had some. Yeah, I actually had my neighbors, kitty corner across the street from me. They're hunters, and so they found some camouflage fabric which they brought to me so I could make them masks so they could go hunting.
Oh.
So I did that. I had church members request extra masks for family members, which I did, and just gave them to them. So yeah, I made probably about 200 altogether.
Wow. That's incredible. I know when Caroline was out of school for most of the school year, and then when she was going to go back, she decided, well, now I need some colorful masks. And so she found a pattern. I don't know if she ever actually made any, but her sights were set kind of high of making masks to where it matched different shirts and things, but I don't know that she ever actually did it. But she was kind of excited about that. It doesn't seem, is it hard? Is it a hard thing to sew?
When we started out, the masks that have the 3 folds in them, my machine didn't like that thickness, and so I'd have to kind of force them through. They weren't as fun or easy to make as the masks that I started making later on.
Oh, okay. Okay. And some masks have the tie. Some go around your
I think
ear.
our
That
favorite
we're at
pattern
church.
is the Midnight Baker.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So are you still making masks, or is that kind of dissipated a little bit?
I think I made my last 5 masks and took them
I haven't.
to the veterans last Friday. I don't think I'll be making any more.
Okay.
Unless I get requests.
Okay.
I've got some cut out, but I haven't made them.
Okay. Well, good. Is there any other projects that you guys still just working on quilts? So now you're back to, now that our building's been opened at the beginning of April to some groups. And so now for a little while, you guys have been making back to the quilting, regular quilting kind of routine and working on those. And you guys are done at the end of this month, right? Or how long do you go?
Yes.
Next week.
Okay.
Next week is our last week.
Okay.
On the 25th.
One thing that we forgot to mention is that we make lap quilts for the Bethany homes too. They request from Sarah and Odall how many they want, and then we make them, and they're obviously smaller than our regular quilts that we make.
Right. Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, and some of you ladies may be quilting in just a smaller group during the summer. Is that what I hear? Too? Just kind of keep going?
That's right.
Or is that just for
There's
fun?
just a few of us that like to. It can be either or. We have a friend that's coming back from Florida for the month of July, August, or mid-July up to mid-August. And she's looking really forward. She makes quilt tops for us down there. They've moved down there. And so she's looking forward to sewing with us over the summer.
Oh, good. Good.
And
So there's about 4 or 5 of us that do that.
Good.
there are some other people in the congregation that don't belong to the quilters group that just like to get together with us just for socialization. And actually one of the ladies has helped make baby quilts that I take to the Toma VA for the women veterans that have babies.
Oh,
So
wow. I didn't know that either. Didn't know that was happening. So interesting. Any place else? Those are the main places that. I know Warming Center gets a lot of donations for blankets, but we
I
don't.
think
Do we do anything with the Warming Center?
I don't believe we have.
I don't think so either.
That was a question that
I don't think so.
has been asked before, so I throwing that one in because I knew that has been a question that's been asked. But they do get a lot of blanket donations there. I know a lot of those.
Right.
So I will say one thing about us not having our coffee at 10 o'clock and our desserts is that we have managed to make more quilts in the amount of time that we have. So it's helping us catch up with our COVID absence.
Nice. That's very nice. Yes.
Because our coffee breaks are either 45 minutes or an hour, you never know.
It's keeping the staff a little thinner too.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, right. All of us, I should say.
So I have
think one of the things that we need to do is give us. I think one of the things we need to do is give a shout out to Judy Conup and Sharon Odall.
Yes.
They keep the back room and the quilting fabrics all organized. They do all the packing of the quilts in boxes, getting them ready to send off to Lutheran World Relief. And they do a lot of work behind the scenes that no one has any idea what they do.
Right.
Yay.
We're really grateful for them because we need to give them a shout out.
Great. Yay, Judy. Yay, Sharon. And everyone that's quilting. So it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what ability you have for sewing. There's still a place for you, right? And I know you guys have different stations.
Yes.
So Karen, you mentioned the pinning, or maybe Joan did mention the pinning and the tying. So then you have some people cutting. You got some people cutting and some people.
When we're there on Tuesday,
we actually don't do any cutting at. Go ahead, Joan.
There's not a lot of cutting that happens nowadays. There was a time when there were not enough squares cut, and they would have me cut squares. And I had the job the other day of ironing backs because Vicky, who used to do all the ironing, is not with us anymore. She moved up to Tomahawk.
Okay.
And so we miss her because of that. And yes, the ladies, they put the bottom sheet down, they put the batting down, and then they put the top on. And there's different ways of figuring out where each one of those ties goes. We have several ways of doing that. One of them is to put I think it's an 11 by 11 square, and then you just put knots on each side of that. We have another way where you can lay a piece of material out that has little holes in it, and so you put a knot in each one of those holes. The ladies sit down to pin the edges together. So you don't need to know how to do anything when you first come. We can teach you. And there's one lady that comes from Eagle Crest North, and she's feeling well, and she actually sits down and takes out the hems from the sheets that we get sent, the fitted ones. She will remove all the stitching. So there's lots of different things to do.
Okay. Donations. What kind of donations do you accept?
We accept, if people have fabrics that they want to donate, that's perfectly fine. Judy and Sharon will go through the fabrics. If it's something we can use, we'll keep it. And if it's not something that's suitable for what is required for, say, Lutheran World Relief, they have specific requirements. then we send it on to either Goodwill or Good Stewart or Salvation Army. So it never goes to waste. It does get used by someone. We're also in need of backings, and that's basically what we use are sheets, and that are, you know, in fairly good condition. Either king size or queen size are the ones that work the best for us.
Okay. Okay.
Judy Connop
And they
actually
can just
goes
be dropped
to,
off at the church either.
Judy Connop actually goes to estate sales or rummage sales and buys sheets. And lots of times when she tells people what we're using that for, they'll let her have them for nothing or a really low price. So if other people want to do that at rummage sales, if they see sheets that we can use, please donate them to church.
And it doesn't matter what pattern?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Sharon
And
North
what about-
also will call Gunderson and get the sheets from them that they're not going to use anymore too, that they're getting rid of. And so she's brought bags and bags of those.
Wow. And what about the batting? Can people drop off blankets to put in the middle of it, or do you have something special you put in the middle? Or I know people had dropped off blankets, but I don't know where they go if they if you can use those.
We specifically use batting that we purchase. And when Lorraine Gainey died, there were a lot of donations to Quilters, and so a lot of that money is going to be used for batting. Lorraine was our oldest quilting member, 104, I think. And she had helped with Quilters for years. So we're very appreciative of that donation, because we do use only the batting that we buy to put in there. The blankets, if anybody donates blankets, those get sent off to New Horizons or Salvation Army, where we think they'll get more use.
Okay.
In ages past, if you would ask Judy Connop about this, they used to take blankets, heated blankets, electric blankets, and they would tear those apart and use that for batting before we.
Wow.
It was very interesting.
Wow. Oh, we had a comment here. Jerry said, it sounds like a fun thing to learn. So I wrote back to her and I said, well, you guys are a good group of people to learn from.
I do know that Debbie has joined us thinking that she might learn how to quilt, and we all told her that she wouldn't learn how to make her own quilts, fancy quilts that you see other places, but we certainly would put her to good use. So. We suggested she take a quilting class.
I must tell you, a roll of batting that we get cuts about 27 battings for quilts. So
really?
on a roll of batting, we get like 27 quilts made. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I've seen those big bolts come in, and I didn't know you could make that many off of one.
Yeah.
Wow. And what size are they?
Yep.
They're 80 inches long.
Okay.
I found that out this summer when Sharon Odall and I cut.
And
we had a disaster. But
I think 80 by 60, I think.
Yes, I think they're 80 by 60. But Sharon Odall and I thought we were cutting them. Thought we were cutting them 80 inches long, and because of the length of the table, and we found out we weren't using the large size table, and we'd cut them too small. So Kathy Weeks pieced a whole lot of batting together all summer long.
It's a team. It's a team effort.
That's right. Even when we make mistakes, somebody fixes it up.
Well, there's so many places that benefit from all of the masks and the quilts that you ladies do. And I know that it's a great ministry for our church that anybody, like we've talked about, could be involved in. And it's thank you for all of the time that you put into that and donating the quilts to different organizations. And I'm not going to feel bad next year when the seniors pick their quilts out and I steal one and you won't even know it. Karen said no one would know. So I'll just take whichever one I want.
For sure.
Say Karen said I could.
I would encourage anybody in our congregation, or if they know somebody, to come and just see what we do on a daily basis at quilting. when we restart, like in September.
We
You know, then they can figure out whether it's something that they'd want to do.
Yeah.
we even have a lady that when St. Paul's church closed, she comes and helps us on Tuesdays, but she doesn't necessarily belong to our church. So you don't have to belong to our church to help us with Quilters.
Okay.
No.
Great information. Do you ladies, Karen, do you have anything more to add before we close this out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's just been a joy with working with these ladies. It's so much fun.
It's good for us mentally and socially.
Yes, it is. I agree.
And so you're meeting on Tuesday mornings at 8:30, right?
Right.
That was a question that was just
Yes.
asked. When do you meet? Okay. Joan, do you have anything more to add before we?
I don't think so. I didn't think we could talk this long even.
Well, you did really well. Okay,
No,
so
Joan,
we
you know better
would
than that.
we would accept your donations. As we talked about, you can listen for more information about that. And we thank you, ladies. We are going to close with a prayer. We can close with a prayer. I will say a prayer with us. Gracious God, we thank you for all of the hands that go into making all of the beautiful quilts and masks that they've done in the past couple of years and continue to do. We thank you for all of the creative people that you have given to our congregation, and we thank you for all of their efforts. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, ladies. Next week we are going to be, it's called How Are We Connected? And we're going to be talking to Arthur Karbowski, who is in our tech booth on Sunday morning, and how that all came to be and how easy it is to work in the tech booth and do some live. He's going to do a little demonstration for us. And because now that we're starting to do that, we need some volunteers in that area too. So another opportunity wherever your gifts may lie. So we thank you very much again, ladies, and feel free, people that are listening or will listen to this later, to add any questions and we'll watch for those. And like Karen said, you can drop off your donations of sheets or material in our church, inside our church parking lot door from 8:30 in the morning until about 1, or I think it's 1 o'clock, 1:30, Monday through Friday. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Niki.
Thank you, Niki.